Hey there guys, I don't know why I persist in shooting straight into the sun. Let's try that. I'm Tori from the Amazing Brick Network. Today we are going to Tattoos by Paulie to get some work done on one of my Lego tattoos. So come with me and check it on out. Alright guys, let's get into it. So we're at the Tattoos by Paulie studio and time to get in. Now what we're going to be working on is finishing off my hand, and I'm going to be doing a bit more detail of that, but we'll get the story. And we're in Tattoos by Paulie. This is in Geelong. You can find him on Facebook, and of course you can always Google. The man behind the machines though, there he is, Paul Blackhall. Oh. Thanks so much for letting the camera in here today, mate. I really appreciate that. And first off, I know we're going to be working on Lego, and Lego, Paul and I have been friends for, God, nearly 20 years. But Lego is our jam, as you can see behind. I'm going to quickly whip around. Now, you've got to realise these pictures here, they're Paul's creations, and yes, the very, very famous Red Death. And, you know, that's got some years on it, that picture. But these beautiful images that you can see in front of you are all done by Paulie. They're absolutely magnificent, and he's just a beautiful human being, but I tell him that almost every day. There, check it out. It's like even details like that. How cool is that? It's ridiculous. And the flower bouquet, which I've shown you as well, he beat me to it. But even the minifigure little pot plant there, so super cool. Lego is one of the things that influences Paul creatively. I had to edit that several times because I screwed it up. I'm so sorry, not sorry. But as you can see, as you enter into the studio, it is just a Lego fan's delight. And it's just utterly beautiful. And I do love the fact that he does twist and bend Lego to his will. And some of the stuff that you will see in here, you could spend hours just looking. It's absolutely crazy. But I just love it so much. And it's like, even though Paul's done almost all of my tattoos, it's still a place that I find absolute bliss and solitude in, even though I've got a needle going into me putting ink in. There we go, Lego Bob Ross. This is just fantastic. So minifigures. Now, I know from personal knowledge there are a lot more minifigures than this, like several thousand more, but this is just a thing of beauty. But in any case, folks, we are going to jump into the tattooing process. So I hope you enjoy that, and I'll be back with you at the end of it. I thought I would talk you through the process, folks, not because there's any real reason for it other than the fact that you may have some questions that you think to yourself, maybe you haven't got a tattoo before, and I have a lot of them, so I can talk you through it. So we have sped all this up. Paul doesn't tattoo this fast, but he does tattoo extremely quickly, that's for sure. So these are the classic Spacemen, so First in Space in 78, and I absolutely adore them. When I started the YouTube channel, I always thought to myself, once I hit a certain point, and I will show my love for Lego by popping it on my hands, which may seem silly to some of you, but it made a sort of sense in my head, and I have never regretted it. The red spaceman on the right and the blue spaceman on the left, and we were just finishing this up, and Paul said let's just recolor the whole thing, because the fact that you know, skin heals differently and it could have been a little bit of a brighter blue. So we did my entire hand, and it was actually a really good time. It's funny, it didn't hurt as much as the first time round, maybe because I knew what to expect pain wise, but I had absolutely no problems. As you can see here, when it's in slow motion, it's funny how the ink sort of beads up and how many passes a tattoo artist has to do in order to make it actually stick in the skin. So if you haven't had one before, just so as you know, the machine that Paul's holding there, it's got tons of little needles coming out that he dips into ink, and then obviously the needles perforate your skin and put the ink in there. It's a very basic process, been done since the dawn of time, but of course now with machines and different skill sets you can get some really fantastic results out of them. I started getting my tattoos when I was 17. I'm now 48, and I have enjoyed almost every single one of them. So as we're filling in the background here for the blue spaceman, I have noticed a couple of times, especially because they're on my hands, I've had people say, oh, I love the astronaut, and I feel like saying it's not an astronaut, it's a spaceman. If you've experienced the same thing, leave a comment below. But this is just the slow motion of Paul colouring in, and I just thought This way you could get a really good look at how vibrant the ink actually is that tattoo artists use. It's just my old skin that doesn't make it look as bright as it could, especially afterwards. I've got very dry skin, so it often looks as though my tattoos are super faded until I get some moisturizer on them. And also the sun will definitely wear them out on your skin too. And I used to garden a lot for other people, so I did get a lot of tattoos fade as a consequence of me being outside so often. Never mind, we've been colouring in here, and as you can see, it's coming together nicely. There's a lot of ink spillage, which you wouldn't think would be the case. And as I said earlier with the warning, don't be overly concerned. That's just a little bit of plasma coming up to the surface there because the needle's running over it so often. Quite often the night after a tattoo, I'll often bandage it up for the night, and yeah, it's quite messy in the morning, which I will not share that photo for you because it'll put you off getting a tattoo. It's certainly not painful, but you wake up and yeah, it's a little bit messy sometimes. But as we pass through all this, it was really good to get this all done, get it all tidied up, and I was so keen to be able to show you guys the actual process, just in case, like I said, you haven't had a tattoo before, or you're a little bit curious, or if you've got tattoos but you haven't been game enough to put them on your hands. I certainly would not get a tattoo on your hands unless you're as covered as I am. I've got full sleeves. Especially younger people, they think it's a bit of a tough thing getting them put on there first. And yeah, I just think, make your tattoo decisions wisely. I'm old enough to get this put on here and sort of live with consequences. There are still some workplaces where it's frowned upon. But in my particular circumstance, I've really stopped caring what other people think as long as I am happy and I'm making other people happy as well. Slow motion again, I will invest in a better camera at some point there, but basically it was just to show you the little sharp needles that are there putting the ink in and the way the ink is dispersed. The machine that Paul uses there, it's silent. It's really weird actually, because in the old days, the machines buzzed very angrily like a bunch of bumblebees, and nowadays they're super quiet. And it's funny because you've still got the pain, but you don't have that bzzz noise that goes on with it that you would associate with pain. So a bit of a weird detachment there from sound versus sensation, but it worked really well, and he absolutely loves that machine, so it's good. No cords or cables. It is completely wire free. In the old days, they'd need to clip it up to an electrical source to make the needles move up and down. Now it's all just contained within the battery, and the electricity takes care of the rest there. What you're seeing right now is the most painful part of this tattoo. That actually hurt. It went over. I've got a really good threshold for tattoo related pain. I'm terrified of piercings, but that part actually really hurt. It was over 2 of my knuckles, and with nothing really beneath it, it just felt like it was straight on the bone. But even then with the sped up version of it, I can tell you right now, it didn't take too long for it to be completed. As I said, Paul works very, very quickly, and he's extremely good at what he does. So even though it was a little bit funky, it wasn't too bad at all. I do hope that you're enjoying what you're watching here, and if you haven't had a tattoo before, maybe it'll make you think of getting one yourself, as long as you're 18 or whatever it is in your country. And I do sincerely hope that you've enjoyed what you've viewed today. I think that looks fantastic. He's just going in now to finish off some of the black, give it a bit of a recolor, and that will all bear down too on how you heal and how much color is lost as your body does take care of itself. It's an absolutely remarkable thing, the human body, and it constantly does amaze me at just how it can heal from self-inflicted trauma like this. Because let's not forget, at the end of the day, this is about 50 minutes worth of tattooing that I've condensed down to this particular point in time, which is about the 10-minute mark, including the introduction there. But I do hope that you do consider carefully choosing your tattoo artist. Don't just choose anyone. It is important to actually like the artist's body of work, and I'm just very fortunate that one of my very close friends is a tattoo artist that I trust implicitly, and that we've got that mutual love of Lego, which I know brings you to the channel, folks. So at some stage later, we may actually do another interview with Paul, but keep it just about Lego. His collection is absolutely fantastic. It isn't just what you're seeing there, and his love of Lego goes back a very long way indeed, as does mine. And I do hope that you do get to view that. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel, please. and I do value your feedback, whether negative or positive. And don't forget to click that bell for notifications. So till next time, folks, thank you so very much for watching. There's the final product as I left the studio. He's done a fantastic job as always. And as always, also, I appreciate your time. Happy building.